Welcome to Peter's Drive, podcast where we explore the stories of individuals who have overcome great challenges in this game of life. Today, we sit down with Stephen Ye, a founder who shares his journey of growth and determination, from being a newcomer in the tech industry to developing a virtual event platform that has collaborated with EDM legend Kaskade and industry giant Unity. Stephen talks about the challenges he faced and how he overcame them. He tells us about the drive that came from a need to better himself and his family, and how that drive pushed him to become a new person. Stephen also touches on the hard parts of being a founder and the grind that comes with it. He says, anytime you see a good headline, there's 10 bad things that happen before that we don't say. But despite the obstacles, he's always willing to put in the effort to reach the next level. So sit back, relax, and let's hear Stephen share his inspiring journey as a founder.
Cool. We're here.
Yeah. How was your week and weekend?
Been pretty good. We're working pretty hard on our new white paper, new roadmap coming up this week. So we spent the last year, 2022, pretty much building a foundation for our metaverse platform. And we've been throwing events with that platform pretty much every single month. So I think we had almost a dozen events, maybe a little bit less, but it was pretty often. But we've gotten it to a point where we could greatly expand it, especially with a few creator tools that we're pretty excited to announce and release. But a lot of it is putting it together in a nice package for the roadmap. So it's a lot easier to digest.
That's awesome. I read a blog article on Unity about you guys, and you guys have been at it since 2015, right? So that's almost like coming up to 8 years. How has the journey been?
Yeah, 2015, that's when we started everything, but that was just the first iteration of what FutureFest. The project's evolved over the years, and this iteration has only been around for about 2 years now. And it felt like before the 2-year mark of the most recent iteration, we needed that time to build up our personal skills in order to develop the business and build out the tech that we needed. Because when we started, we were all pretty new to all this. And it's like that time we're just putting in the effort to really learn. And now we're at the point where we could actually execute on exactly what we want to do. As for the Unity thing, that came about last year because of connects we had with Unity. And they've been talking with us over the course of several months. But we actually did a show for them for their Unite conference. If you guys don't know what Unite is, it's an annual conference that Unity holds where they invite all the developers for Unity to go. It was hosted online this time. And we actually worked with the team at Unity to put on their official after party event. So that was really cool.
Like when you shared that post with me, I was so excited. It's a great partnership. And I guess just tell the audience about like how we know each other.
Okay. For anyone that doesn't know, no one knows actually. So we know each other from high school. We went to the same high school and we've kept in contact just randomly throughout the years after high school. But the funny thing that happened last year was we both went to Austin for a convention, a crypto convention. And we ran into each other during a meetup. That was so random. But ever since we connected again last year, we just kept in more contact, hung out a bit, and now we're here. Now you're starting your podcast, which is really awesome.
Thank you so much for being like the first guest, because I felt like I didn't have the confidence and support around me. You've helped me a lot. I really appreciate it, Stephen. And I think your journey is super cool too, because are you a self-taught?
Yeah, I'm self-taught. So I actually never graduated college. The way I was able to break into the industry was just doing a lot of projects on my own. I had help with the projects with my cousin, actually. He's the CTO of FutureFest. Just to dox a little bit, yeah, he's my cousin. He's a CTO. And he helped me get started with programming. We started our first company together. I think it's 8 years ago now. But together we built about a dozen apps. And those apps became my portfolio that helped me get my first job in tech. And I worked in the business for about 7 years. And after the 7 years, I've been doing FutureFest full time for about a year and a half now. Actually, might be 2 years now.
For this year, what goals do you have for FutureFest?
Since we've focused so much on the foundational technology for FutureFest, I think this year is the year we open up our platform for creators. Not completely, because a lot of metaverse platforms are focusing on UGC, where users are able to create their own digital worlds, but we're not at that point yet. We are opening up portions of our platform for creators to sell things. So, for example, we are releasing a new storefront that's using Web3 technology behind the scenes that will allow creators to sell their merch that will then get binded to their digital identities.
That's cool. So for this whole like Web3 thing, I have another friend. He was asking me like, what is metaverse and what is Web3? And I'm like, bro, it's just so much. I guess it divides people because some people think it's a scam. Some people think like it can possibly change the internet itself. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because a lot of people do think it's a scam, and it's so funny because it's so easy to get scammed, and you see a lot of those headlines. But the foundational technology of blockchains is made in such a way where it's open, transparent. You follow things. It's great for that aspect, but the bad headlines gives this whole industry a bad rap. But there's so much that has not really been explored in terms of the end user experience that I think would change a lot of people's minds once they realize the power of Web3 technology. The fact that things are decentralized, we need to see a massive amount of people actually interacting with this technology in a decentralized way. Once we see more products built with this in mind, people in general will start to shift their mindset a bit. But as of right now, because the technology is made in such a way where it's easy for people to get scammed, that's just going to be a hard thing to overcome in the short term, at least.
For sure. What motivates you and like, where do you get your drive from, man?
At least early on, my drives came from necessity, almost survival, where I needed to be better in order to help out my family. And I knew that if I wasn't better, that we would be in a much worse situation than we were at the time. So that forced me to be in a position where I just had to change my life completely. And if I didn't do that, yeah, things would be a lot different, of course. But that situation also helps just push you just constantly because you never want to go back to that situation once you escape it. And after a certain point of doing all this, after overcoming those things in the past, it just becomes addicting to keep pursuing just harder and harder things because I don't know, after all right, 1 second. Got it.
No, seriously. Yeah, dude, it's good, man. This is good shit.
Yeah, it's a little interesting just talking about myself personally and that specific aspect. It's almost hard to communicate because I don't know, it was just really tough early on, and it felt like I just really had to change to get through that situation at the time. And it's something that I want to almost spread because just looking back at those moments, it's like it could have gone the other way so easily. But in order to get past that, I almost had to become a new person, which almost brings me back to what we want to do with FutureFest.
Wait, how does that connect? So the new person, FutureFest?
Yeah. So when I went to my first music festival, I think a lot of people have the same experience where they get dragged out by a friend. They don't want to go. But once they're there, it almost changes your life perspective. And the funny thing is that happened around the same time that bad situation happened in the past. And I feel like without that experience of the music festival opening my eyes to everything, I would not have the strength to actually change myself and overcome it. And I want to bring that experience to more people. And if we make digital experiences have the same aspects of real life festivals, it could open up opportunities for more people to be awakened.
Yeah, I've had similar experiences, like going to massive music festivals like EDC and stuff. And it's just, these things are expensive. There's a certain privilege when you get to attend one of them, right? And you're like, wow, this is really nice. And then you go back into the regular world and it's just like you're grinding and then just to save money up to go to the next festival.
Oh man, those are good times. Like
So
just going every single week, the first year is us.
Speaking of fun things, aren't you like going on some kind of like cruise
Oh man,
soon or something? Or
is that a little bit too personal? So
we can edit.
that's good.
Oh, okay.
That's good. Yep. I'll be going on a cruise soon. And in this cruise, I'll be working, but I'll also be partying. So that should be really fun because it's fun to maximize your time in that way where like you're in a different location, but you could still get things done.
Just life of an entrepreneur. Do you think anyone can do what you've done?
I think so, but the hard part is to be consistent because it's easy to do something and I guess hit some goals, but then you have to keep following through, keep finding new goals. And that's the hard part. And I think the one quality I have that makes all this possible is it's just, I'm willing to grind as much as it takes to get to the next level. And I think anyone could do this. It's hard because grinding and also just experiencing failures is really demotivating. Anytime you see a good headline for FutureFest, there's 10 bad things that happen before that we don't say. So it's like any of those 10 things could get people to not want to continue, but just being able to persevere and get through all that is very important to stay in any kind of business, but anyone can do it.
And yeah, for FutureFest, like how can we help you guys? What are your asks, I guess?
A big part of why we went to Web3 is because communities are really vocal. It feels like they're a part of building our business because they're so active in the community. Just being able to communicate with in social media, it's pretty much free marketing for us. So any tweets, any interactions online that could get other people to notice us, that's very helpful. That's the very minimal we ask for. That's because it helps us out so much, just every little bit.
That's awesome. And I guess on the business aspects of it, right? I know we were in talks about you're looking to raise, I think at pre-seed or something. Is that something that's still like on your mind, or are you guys just?
Yeah, definitely raising at pre-seed is still on the table. It's just, we keep getting our platform to a certain level. We're like, oh, do we need funding anymore? Because we're actually getting some income coming in that would pay for this. The biggest thing is that we don't want to lose our creative control and our vision for the business. So we're trying to find situations where we could both win with all this, with investors that kind of believe in what we're doing, but all that's still on the table.
Cool. And I guess if you had to do anything over again, was there anything that you would change about FutureFest?
Man, hindsight is pretty crazy. There's a lot that I think we could have done better. Just having known all the information we know now, there's certain things with how we went about our business strategy, especially like releasing into Web3 for the first time. I think it could have been done a lot differently. It's just, because of what happened, it just made it a little more difficult for us, but we're still here. So I think that's all that. The most important thing is that we're just constantly communicating just our progress with the community directly. It's really important that we don't dwell too much on the path. We're just trying to figure out just ways to hit our vision, but do it in a sustainable way. So we're just going to keep grinding.
Do you have any questions for Ree?
Oh man, Dude, what do you think about Web3?
With Facebook changing their name to Meta, right? And they're just like investing so much into the hardware. I think billions into the hardware. I'm excited for it. I was recently playing a game on my buddy's VR headset. It's like a boxing game, right? And the experience is like an 8 out of 10, man. It feels like you're there, like boxing the guy. Maybe we're early to this, and with things also like things like Neuralink, right? People will be plugged in more so like in the future than now. Even now, people are addicted to TikTok and Twitter. So I think it's going to get weird and crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is pretty much already all digital, and it's going to get even more digital in the future. For us, we're focusing on virtual events, but we want to move beyond that as well. Move into possibly doing real life things, blending those realities, digital and real life. Because there's so much in digital, especially with the newer technology that's come out, that could just enhance people's lives. And I think just being able to show use cases of that would be amazing.
That's really cool. It actually brings up to mind. I think I see some businesses that focuses on like child enrichment stuff. So they're teaching kids how to play with Legos and also teaching kids how to like design stuff with Scratch to build like Minecraft stuff. So I figured that might be like a potential area for you guys to explore too.
Yeah, at least for our demographic, we're targeting about 16 to 22. That might not be our demographic now, but that's what we're going for. It's the kids that are graduating from Roblox to something a bit more immersive. But it's also a time when a lot of people go to for the first time as well. So connecting those together. But going back to your point about enrichment for kids, I think every kid should know how to program at some level, pretty much like math. Because since things are becoming more and more digital, they need to understand more about what they're interfacing with. Otherwise, a lot of will get lost in abstraction over time.
Yeah, and it's great that even now with YouTube, Free Code Camp has so amazing resources. Like I'm taking an intro to Python, like CS50, and it's free, it's accessible. So now's the time, right, for that.
Yeah. Is there any fields in particular that you're interested in, that you'd want to work on specifically?
Man, maybe the podcasting. I like to meet people that are doing interesting things, and I really like to learn from others. So I think it's really valuable, and just to build my network, because like it's similar to you. I came from, I've seen the benefits of having a small business, and I've seen the benefits of like taking contrarian bets on investments, and it's really hard coming from also like a family that's kind of not well to do in some senses, and we were struggling too. And I'm like, I just keep thinking to myself, there's got to be a better way, man. And yeah.
This lifestyle, it's super high risk, high reward, and rewards might not even be in terms of monetary value, but spiritually, it's amazing. Every day feels like a blessing doing this. It's just, you constantly have to just fight for it and put in the work, because there's a lot of forces that try to take you out of it. And you can't be comfortable if you decide to go down this route. But I just got to say, though, that it is really rewarding.
And are your parents like supportive of your endeavors?
Yeah, they are. Surprised that they're actually pretty lax about it, because most Asian parents are not.
Dude, my mom's
not really down for this kind of thing.
I know. My mom's just like, when are you going to get a job? And I'm like, Mom, I need to do some things. I'm doing things. I'm doing work. It's don't have like much to show for it yet, but you're putting in the work.
Yeah, I think part of it too was, I think what helped was that in that first job in tech, I think they just had to see that I guess I was going somewhere with it. And now that I did that for a couple of years, that going fully into my own thing, it helps them believe. So it's great.
That's amazing. Also, are you playing with Midjourney or ChatGPT at all these AI tools?
Yeah, we actually use it for our business as well. We don't use it for finals for everything, but we use it as a way to give us ideas really quickly. And from those ideas, we create a production post or content based off of what's being generated. I think that's the workflow that feels the most authentic, because with AI, you don't know what's real, what content is being made from like a computer. If you add like some kind of human element to it after the fact, after it's already generated, then you could tie your brand in with it and make it speak the way you want it to. Because even if you're really specific, you don't get exactly what you want, at least yet with AI.
It's really cool. What are your thoughts on the shit posts and memery?
I think it's fun, and I think it's really good for engagement and community building. It keeps things light because I feel like if you get rid of a lot of shit posts online, you get a lot of really serious content and it just sucks. So it's like you almost need this element thrown in just to make the whole online experience more bearable, I guess, because it's just kind of a drag to just be serious all the time. Yeah.
Seriously, I think we should have more fun and we should definitely play more. And maybe in the future, we're heading towards that maybe.
Yes, exactly. And also going back to shit posts, I've seen some teams, especially in Web3, that do it really well, where they incorporate shit posts in a way where they give tools to the community to increase the amount and the quality of the shit posts, which in turn increases engagement for their entire project. So I want to try to see us get to a level, maybe not shit post directly, but like giving tools to our community to get awareness out about the project a bit better.
Nice. And I guess your background, you're like a technical founder, right?
Yeah. So I'm actually coding some parts of it. And I think it helps to understand on a technical level how everything works. Because say I wasn't a technical founder and I just had ideas, a lot of them wouldn't really be feasible. And that just, it's a recipe for disaster because it makes it so you don't vet the right people to join your team to actually build out that stuff. And just being in the trenches also helps because a lot of times as the CEO, there's certain things that you have to, yeah, as a CEO, there's certain responsibilities that they do, which involves like communication with other teams and stuff. But sometimes you want to just go in and fix a bug or add a feature or do whatever. And being able to do that as a technical founder, it just helps in just keeping momentum up because it just sucks not being able to do something and everyone else on your team is able to do something.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you want to share for people that are starting out on this like founder journey? Like any insights that you have?
It's like the advice I hear all the time from founders is the grit and grind, going all that stuff. It's so cliche almost, but it's like the only thing that I could just parrot again because it's so necessary to just have that perseverance, that persistence to just keep on going because random shit just happens all the time. A lot of bad stuff, especially happens all the time. It's like a roller coaster, but it's like you're mostly like down. It's like you go up sometimes, but then like you get some false positives. Like you go, it's some days it just suck. Like certain things just suck, but you just gotta believe, and you gotta. Another part of the thing is you have to get your team to believe, and that starts at the top.
It's amazing. And I guess for like pressure or stress, like how do you handle those two things?
I try to work out a lot. Last year, I worked out a lot, but I also ate like shit. Actually, was the heaviest I've ever been last year. And now I'm trying to correct myself with all that, with the diet and everything. But it's just, we need that. I still have a pretty active social life. I need that to balance everything. But the thing is, if you get carried away with all that, and you could lose sight of the actual work. So balance, even though like it doesn't really feel like balance, you just have to work hard at everything. You have to actively rest, if that makes sense.
And being a founder, are you still able to maintain like relationships with all your friends and family as well?
Yeah, it's actually been pretty good. Once you have less time for things, you optimize time a little better. So I try to maximize relationships and experiences, like offline, of course. And once I have that, even though the hours I put in feels like unbalanced, it actually is pretty balanced because I'm wasting less time. So that's something that is almost forced upon you. Now that like you're playing for it, it just naturally happens.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I do Thank you so much, Steve, for sharing your journey and stuff. I learned a lot, and I'm just gonna be making content for this thing.
Yeah, man. Good luck with all this. And I'm just happy to be here first.
Thanks, man. All right.
Yeah.
See you. And that concludes today's episode of Peter's Drive. We hope you enjoyed listening to Steven's story and gained insights into the challenges and triumphs of being a founder. From learning new skills, facing difficulties head-on, and grinding to reach new levels, Steven's journey serves as a reminder of the hard work and determination that goes into starting and growing a business. We want to thank Steven for sharing his story with us and for reminding us the power of perseverance. And to all the listeners, thank you for tuning in and supporting Peter's Drive. Join us next week as we delve into the life of another inspiring founder. Until then, keep chasing your dreams and making an impact in your own unique way.